So now that we know how to create lists and add people to the list, whether it be manually or in bulk, let's go over the list settings, okay? So when you're in your lists, if you click up here, get to your lists, and you go over here, see this arrow? That takes you to your settings. So before we do that, I'm just going to go over a few things really quick. We went over importing. You can also export. So exporting means taking your list from MailChimp and downloading it to your computer. So you can do that pretty easily right there. Also, you can replicate a list. So you can create a new list that's exactly like your old one, name it whatever you'd like, and replicate it. And you can also combine lists together. So you can actually select which list you'd like to combine with this one and put them together. Okay, so let's go to settings, come back to this arrow here, and go to settings. And we're going to go through this one by one. So as you can see, again, they have different links up here to help you navigate the site. The first thing is list name and details. And defaults. So here you can actually change the name of your list, and you can actually create your form settings here. Now, when people opt in to your list, you can actually have it set up so that there's what's called enable double opt-in. So by enabling double opt-in, it just grants you a higher level of security knowing that the person has explicitly agreed to be part of your list. You don't have to do this, but in some instances it can be useful. So what will happen is if you check this box, it'll actually send contacts an opt-in confirmation when they subscribe. So let's say they subscribe, they're going to get an email that says, you subscribe to this list, please click here to confirm. Now, notice when we click this, it also automatically clicks this, enable reCAPTCHA. So you can actually do CAPTCHA whether it's double opt-in or not, but when you do a double opt-in, the CAPTCHA is automatically added and utilized. So what the CAPTCHA is it'll say something like, click on this photo, every part of this photo that has a tree, and it'll show like, a certain amount of square parts of a photo, blocks, and then they're able to click on the parts that have a car or a sign or a tree. And what that does is it makes sure that spam bots aren't going to start adding random emails to your list, which could flood your whole list. And that's not fun. So this just protects you. And that's why even if you're not doing double opt-in, a lot of times it is a good idea to use a CAPTCHA. Okay, so your campaign defaults, first of all, being the default from name. And if you ever get an email and it says from Joe Smith, for example, this is where you're able to actually customize who you'd like it to be from. And then down here is who you would like it to be from in terms of email address. So here we have like joe@joescupcakes.com. Now, keep in mind, if you're using a domain name that is not like Gmail or Yahoo or something, they're going to want to make sure that it's verified. As you can see, it says you must verify you have permissions to send from joescupcakes.com. Now, we didn't really buy joescupcakes.com. This is just an example I'm using. But if you actually owned this website, let's say, hypothetically, you'd just go here, verify domain, and you would send a verification email to Joe's Cupcakes, and it would help you verify that so that you can utilize it in your list. So when you send it out, it's going to be customized to your business. And then optionally, we could do a default email subject. And if you look at that, you can see examples of a bad or good default email subject. Okay? So depending on what you're trying to send out, you could do that. I generally don't recommend doing this in a list. You'd want to do this in a campaign because that list might be utilized for multiple different campaigns. So if you say, for example, like happy holidays or something, right? That might not really be what you want to send out each time. That's why it's better to wait till you're doing a campaign to to, do this. Unless this list is going to be specifically for one thing only, then you could go ahead and fill that in. So to the right here, we have a few other options. The first one being to send a final welcome email. So when people opt into your list, they'll get a final welcome email. Now, the reason you would want to do that is because let's say that you want to have some automated information given to them, like they sign up and then you want to have some links that they're going to have access to. That would be a great reason, or just for customer service purposes. Also, you can let users pick plain text or HTML emails, which will allow them to receive their email in the way they see fit. Generally, especially in today's age with technology, doesn't really necessarily need to be sent in HTML. So this is an option. I personally wouldn't utilize it, but some people may have a reason for doing so. And then also sending unsubscribe confirmations to subscribers. If you'd like to send a unsubscribe final goodbye email to let them know that they've unsubscribed, these are helpful. And also, it can help maybe save them by save them from leaving. So sometimes if they get an email that says something like, "Are you sure you want to go?" And the more steps that you put between them unsubscribing, the less likely they're actually going to unsubscribe. Okay, so this here is your campaign URL settings, and here it is right here, and it generates randomly. And if you'd like to customize it, you can actually do that here. But as you can see, you need to be a paid account to do so. These are just little things that you can kind of get with a paid account that kind of make your business a little bit more customized and make the whole experience seem a little bit more proprietary, as if it's coming from your company versus MailChimp. And if you want to get notifications when somebody subscribes or unsubscribes, you can put it here and you'll get a notification to this email address each time. I think that would be very annoying. It would be better to get a summary at the end of the day. But you don't need to do that. Generally, you'd want to just log into your MailChimp and you can review what has happened and what activity has taken place. Now, once you've made any changes in here, you want to make sure you go ahead and save the list, okay? To save the actual list and campaign defaults. Now go back. Now you have the publicity settings. Publicity settings, meaning whether or not your campaign will be public or whether your campaign is going to be a private campaign. So for most situations, you just want to make it public. And then generally, when subscribers click the View in Browser archive link in your email, MailChimp will display the archived versions of your campaign in the browser along with the toolbar that lets them view past campaigns. Generally, you want to have this activated, okay? And then once you make any changes here, you'd want to save publicity settings. And like I said, unless it's something private, which generally if it's private, you're not sending it out via MailChimp, this you want to have clicked to yes, okay? So list fields and merge tags, what those are for are to customize the emails based on a person's name. Like if you send the email to a person named Bob, it'll say, "Hi, Bob." Or if that person's name was Scott, it'll say, "Hi, Scott." And to have that set up, we're going to actually go over in the next section, in the very next section. For now, let's move on to required email footer content. So what this is just reminding people why they signed up for your for the emails. So you can kind of customize what you'd like to say here. Okay. And also, you can place here how recipients can contact you. So all your information on how you can be contacted. And then where did the people opt into this list? You could put your domain. Now this needs to be filled out and done because you need to make sure that you comply with the CAN-SPAM rules. And you can actually read those right here. Talks a little bit about that. Okay, that's just to protect you and also to protect MailChimp. So everything is done according to law. And then the email beamer, let's say that you want to create a campaign not on MailChimp, but from your Google account. And then you want to just push it to MailChimp and then send it out from there. Well, in order to do that, what you need to do is send an email to this email address here, and then they're going to help you get set up. And you can add a beamer, and what that's going to do not a Beamer. Okay, we're not talking about cars here, but you can add this email Beamer, and that should work out just fine for you. And that's only useful really if you want to push things from like, one of your other mail accounts. Generally, that's really not something you might want to do because you just log into MailChimp and handle it there. So I personally don't use this, but I could see maybe some people wanting to. So this is how you'd go about doing that. Okay. And then here you have a location to actually put your Google Analytics tracking ID and save. And then this will connect your MailChimp to your Google Analytics account if you have one. Okay. And then webhooks. Webhooks essentially allow you to get notified and update any new changes that have taken place on your MailChimp account. So let's say, for example, if someone subscribes to your list or unsubscribes to your list on MailChimp, they'll send you an update to your application to update that information. And to create a new webhook, you just need to put your callback URL in here and specify what type of updates you want to be sent out. And this is a little bit more advanced. A lot of people probably are not going to use this, but if you want to use webhooks, this is where you would do it, right under the settings. And then down here you have your unique ID for your newsletter and for this list in case you ever need access to that. So that pretty much sums up the settings other than the list fields, which we're going to go over right now in the next section.